Leinster Road for our commentary game. It's Hibs against Rangers with John Collins, Kenny Miller and Liam McLeod.
Thanks, Kenny. Yeah, quite the display of pyro from the Rangers fans off to our right. The smoke billowing out from the south stand as they welcomed their team onto the pitch. Hibs out there as well. The two captains down either side of the referee, Stephen McLean. James Tavernier to the right, and Joe Newell to the left. Paul Hanlon out sick this evening. That's a blow, particularly with Rocky Bashiri away at the AFCON tournament as well. So that means that the Hibs team lines up with Marshall in goal. It's Megwa, who spent the first half of the season on loan at Airdrieonians. Will Fish, Jordan Abita and Lewis Stevenson. Eli Johan and Jair Tavares wide. Levitt and Newell in the middle. New signing Mizane up there with Dylan Venta, who probably play just behind him. More than comfortable playing on the wing as well. For Rangers, more recognisable starting 11, save for Connor Goldson, who suspended. Butland in goal. Tavernier, Suter, Balogun, Yilmaz, Cantwell, Lundstrom, Rascan, McCausland and Matondo either side of Fabio Silva. The Portuguese on loan from Wolverhampton Wanderers gets his first Rangers start. And it will be Rangers to kick off. They're going to go right to left, wearing their change red and navy colours. Hibs in their traditional green and white, as you would expect here in the Portaleith. Really good, benign conditions for a game this evening. It's the same in Perth. We'll keep you up to date with that one as Cantwell takes centre and passes it straight out of play. Low ball, clearly a misunderstanding with James Tavernier, and it goes out for a Hibs throw-in midway inside the Hibs half. And the home team, John, will be delighted if there are miscommunications amongst the Rangers players this evening for the duration like that one.
Well, there'll be fingers crossed. James Tavernier obviously wasn't ready for it. He was half asleep, but Rangers back in possession.
It's back with the Rangers keeper Butland, who plays it short to his left for Leon Balogun. Of course, John Suter, with Goldson being out of the team, there's the opportunity to play in his favoured right-hand side, and he pings a long ball forward, looking for Silva, collects it with the right foot on the turn, lays it back at the edge of the Hibs box for Cantwell. Might come Silva's way again. Stevenson panics and puts it behind for the game's first corner, which goes Rangers' way. That's a really good ball by John Suter, and Silva was very unlucky with the touch.
And it's something under Philip Come that Rangers have not been scared to play those more direct balls. You've got the forward run of Silva there, and it was a wonderful pass, and it was a decent enough take for Fabio Silva as well.
In swinging corner, the left foot of Ridvan Yilmaz as Rangers attack the famous 5 end off to our left, and it comes headed clear, and then the clearance completed by Jair Tavares, and now there's an opportunity for Hibs to try and launch a counter as it breaks Dylan Levitt's way. Might be able to sneak it to Dele Johan, who's behind the defence. Left-hand side of the box, Johan sizes up the goal, and his shot saved at the near post by Jack Butland. Really good attack on the counter there from Hibernian, but Eli Johan didn't have the final touch. He's to settle for the corner.
Tremendous counter-attack. Venti plays the perfect pass. Johan's timed his run to perfection, but his first touch has taken him away from goal rather than towards the goal, at least hitting the target.
This will be Hibs' first corner. This is a corner each inside the opening couple of minutes. Hibs attack the south stand off to our right. In swinger with the right boot from Jair Tavares. Headed half away by Balogun. Doesn't know what it is. It's bouncing around inside the box. Balogun goes to ground. There's no free kick. There was a Hibs player down as well. It was Mizane, the new signing, and there's no free kick or penalty coming. It's going to go out of play for a throw-in on this near side to the visitors, I think it is. And it remains 0-0 in the early stages here, as it is at McDermott between St Johnstone and Aberdeen. We'll keep you up to date with that one as we go along with Willie Miller waiting in place in Perth. There'll be a little stoppage in play here because Leon Balogun has borne the brunt of that previous challenge inside the area.
And just going back on that counter-attack, John, I thought Dylan Venti actually maybe just overhit that pass. Could he have just weighted that a little bit better, that Johan could have came in more centrally rather than being really wide, or could he have taken his touch in onto his right foot and gave himself a better angle to get the shot away?
I just think Johan's got such pace and he's got power. If he knocks it in front of the defender, sometimes you put the defender under pressure. Does he click your heels? But that little touch that takes him away from goal.
Yeah, it took him wider, didn't it?
Yeah.
It made it was going to be a really, really big effort to beat Jack Butland for that type of angle.
I guess it was on the counter on this occasion, but it's not the first time Rangers have been caught out in that way this season.
Absolutely not. I think again when you're short corners, and when your setup has to be right, particularly when you've got players with pace that Tavares has and Yuan has, and you've got clearly Maizani as well. Looks like he's got really good legs, just playing off the striker as well there. So it's going to be an area that you can see even Hibs early. They're sitting off in a 4-4-2. If they can get the ball, they have pace in those counter-attacking situations.
Yeah, be good to see how Maolida Maizani gets on his debut. He's on loan from Hertha Berlin, up there to support Dylan Venta up front this evening. Hibs with a couple of other new signings amongst their subs this evening. Luke Amos, who arrived earlier on today, straight into the team, and Emiliano Marcondes on loan from Bournemouth. Rangers have Fabio Silva up front from the start tonight as Newell wins the header, nods it out to the near side. It's going to be Yilmaz who'll get onto it. Game on again. Balogun waiting to come back onto the pitch. He is now. It looks as though he had a bit of a shoulder problem there, probably as a result of the fall inside his own box, as Lundstrom loses out to Levitt, but his ball goes straight to Raskan, his ball goes straight to Jair Tavares, and it's hoofed up into the air there by Tavernier and out into the east stand over on the far side at what is a misty Easter Road because of the smoke that came from that pyro pre-match, and it's added to the atmosphere down there on the pitch as it comes all the way back to Jack Butland at the edge of his own box. And when they keep a clean sheet, and he come out of the team at Dumbarton in the Cup on Saturday evening. Rare opportunity for Robbie McCrory to come into the side as that comes back to David Marsden's dealt with it brilliantly because it wasn't the best ball back to a goalkeeper by Will Fish. Scoops it back to Fish, then up the line from Megwa, who goes down, and that's going to be a Hibs free kick on this near side. This is such a big evening for the Hibs defence as a whole, but Kanayo Megwa on this near side, John, 19 years of age. I believe Airdrieonians were desperately disappointed to lose him for the second half of the season when Nick Montgomery decided to bring him back here.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Apparently he's been outstanding week in, week out since he's went there, so they'll be disappointed. But the boy will be absolutely delighted the manager's brought him back, and what a game to play against here tonight. Rangers, whole country watching.
Aye, absolutely. He started against Wraith Rovers in the League Cup in the summer as he was in the overlap. Yuan finds him wide right of the Rangers box. The cross cut out by Yilmaz. Breaks to Yuan at the right angle of the box. Back out to this near side from Megwa, and then Levitt. Infield to Newell. First time looking for Yuan. He gets in behind Yilmaz down towards the corner flag. Yuan moving it back the way to Newell. Good build-up play this by Hibs. Newell's got the cross ball in. It's headed away by Balogun. Bouncing ball in the midfield, and they lose out in the end. And it's Maizani, the new boy, as it breaks to Silva. Drives across halfway. McCausland to his right. He's got Matondo to the left, looking for McCausland in behind the defender. Obita gets there, and he slips it out for a throw-in on the far side, level with the Hibs 6-yard line for Rangers. 6 goalless minutes in, no goals in Perth either, as it stands between St Johnstone and Aberdeen. We'll get regular updates throughout the match from Willie when we get suitable stoppages in play here. There will be a throw into Rangers over on the far side. Highlights incidentally on Sports Scene tonight of both matches, and indeed last night's game across the city from here, as Hearts came from 2 down to beat Dundee. There's 14 points between the Edinburgh clubs now. So Bita, it's a little touch onto it, not what he intended, but it does break away from Silva. Now it's with Fish, he finds Megwa, clears it up this near side touchline, but it'll be comfortably taken by Ridvan Yilmaz, who's been almost constantly linked with a move away from Rangers. He was in the summer, he has been this month as well. You listen to Philippe Clement, who seems quite happy to keep him at the club. He's been getting plenty of game time, Kenny, recently.
He certainly has. I mean, Barisic's obviously been injured just before the break there, but he's managed to hold on to spot with Borna Barisic back in the squad now. So it's listen, I think he's been a decent enough performer. I think in his last game against Kilmarnock, it was probably his best performance. I think Philippe Clement was potentially one of the best players on the pitch.
Joe Newell slipping it out to Yuan on this near side, up against Yilmaz. Just been talking about him. Yuan trying to spin away from the Turk, who reacts really well and then goes down, and the referee doesn't give the free kick. Yilmaz is complaining. Yuan has it. Little drop of the shoulder, shows too much of the ball to Lundstrom, and out it goes off Yuan Lass, says the assistant on this near side, Alan Mulvaney, and that will be a throw-in to Rangers, level with their own penalty spot as Yilmaz continues to complain. He felt he'd been fouled there as the throw-in's taken in field. Comes back to Yilmaz's ball forwards, cut out. Venta gives chase. Balogun gets his head onto it. Venta stabbing it back to the edge of the Rangers box, but only to the benefit of the visitors. And it's Leon Balogun stretching his legs up to halfway, rolling it to the for Rabbi Matondo, eager to take advantage of another start here, the Welshman, and he's got it on this left-hand side. Gets away from Megwa, driving into the Hibs box, looks up, plays it across, and it's fired past the left-hand post first time by Fabio Silva, who met it cleanly enough, but he's off target. And that was all about Rabbi Matondo down this near side.
Tremendous play, really positive, wants to get to the byline. Little Meg will be disappointed, he went with the wrong foot, went with his right foot, should have been, but cross never quite made it.
But that's a worrying early sign for Megwa personally, and for his manager as well.
You know, it's going to be an interesting battle on this side of the pitch when you think, you just talked about Yilmaz going against Yuan with real pace. You've got Matondo with real pace against a young fullback. You know, I think that's 1-0 Matondo there. He had the first chance to go 1v1. He's clearly got the measurement of pace. I just felt he took a little bit of time to knock it. You know, he was getting closer and closer to that byline when there was 30-40 yards to move into.
Fish has got to give him protection. Young right back, he's got to be close to him, talking to him. Levitt's got to be close to him. They've got to really protect the young player, because Matondo looks like he's going to go at him.
Bita committed himself forward there. It's played infield to Levitt. Big switch of play out to this near side. It's off the head of Yilmaz. Yuan decides to keep it in play. He's going to regret that now, because Yilmaz has pinched it off him. He's driven away from him. He's brought down by him. It's a Rangers free kick, and it's going to be the game's first yellow card, which goes to Eli Johan. He got himself into all kinds of bother there. He's trying to be the showman. He'd have been better off letting it go out for the throw-in. Hibs are in an attacking position, and they can get players up to support that attack. He decided to go it alone and continue. He thought he could beat Yilmaz, and he was pickpocketed, and it's resulted in a Rangers free kick on the halfway line.
That is the problem with Johan. He tries to showboat rather than just knock it past him and use your pace. But I don't think it was a booking.
You know, it was a counter-attacking opportunity there. A good could have been a 2v1. I think that's probably to the letter of the law, probably the way that's been viewed. But it was good, really good defending for Yilmaz. Aggressive. You need to be aggressive with these players, these fast players. You can't give them too much space to get ahead of steam up.
There's Yilmaz on this near side for Rangers. Just moving it back towards the halfway line. Rolls it back to Balogun. Low ball, 0-0, 10.5 on the clock. There's also St Johnstone 0, Aberdeen 0 in the Fair City. And it's Balogun picking up left of the centre circle. Of course, Rangers looking to take advantage of these two games in hand that they have, that could potentially reel Celtic into within 2 points. The big deep cross from Tavernier almost found Matondo. Done really well to keep that in play. It looked like he was sailing behind for the goal kick. Matondo has it. Little back heel for Yilmaz. Megwa slides in, and that will go behind for a Rangers corner. 0-0 on the scoreline and 11 on the clock.
I'm just looking at a game with the young right back there, Megwa. Like, I think even Yilmaz there looked like maybe he had just the legs on him over that kind of 5-10 yards, and for pace it's going to be a tough night. Yuhan, really important. He gets back, not only Fish covering John, but also Yuhan doing his work, going back with doubling up and giving the young man a bit of help.
100%. He's going to need the help. You can see that the first 10 minutes. They've targeted him up and they're going to feed Matondo.
Tavernier will take, scored the first of his 118 Rangers goals in this very stadium. He's over the corner right-footed, in it comes. It's a poor one though, headed away at the near post by Johan. Tavernier will keep it in play, takes a touch, crosses in, and then towed to safety by Megwa. Picked up by Raskan in the centre circle, and he sweeps it back to his goalkeeper. And it's Butland. He's about 10 yards outside his own box under no pressure. He slips it to his left for Leon Balogun. Short ball side-footed to Raskan into the centre circle for Fabio Silva, and out to Lundstrom on the far side. It's a long ball for Tavernier. Looked like he started from an offside position there. Tavernier chases and the flag does go up, and it is Hibs 0, Rangers 0. You've got to go back a heck of a long way to find a Hibs win over Rangers in this stadium. April 2016, it was a championship encounter. Nicholas Gunnarsson got the only goal, or got the goal that proved to be the winner, and then went on to beat them in the Scottish Cup final the following month. You've got to go back even further to find a top flight win for Hibs over Rangers in Leith. September 06, Chris Killen scoring either side of a Philip Shibo goal. Chris Killen and Phil Bardsley would be sent off as Tony Mowbray inflicted Paul Le Guen's first defeat as Rangers manager. It's a hell of a long time ago, that. And Hibs looking to redress the balance somewhat this evening. Managed to beat Rangers 4 times in Glasgow since then, since 2016. as Newell switches it to Obita. Nick Montgomery said he was going to be pretty comfortable in that position, has been playing left back for Hibernian as Stevenson slips it down the left-hand side of the box, and the slide challenge comes in on Tavares, and out of play for a throw-in to Hibs. Now this is about level with the Rangers penalty spot. Infield to Mizani, he gets it back, a little flick infield, but he's given it straight to Suter. Returns it to Tavernier, it goes all the way back to Butland, who hits it first time with the right foot, but he's rather sliced that one. That's going to bounce out for a Hibernian throw-in midway inside the Rangers half. Approaching 14, it's been fairly even so far, not much in it.
I would say scrappy. It's also been scrappy at times. There's been a few kind of balls played at the pitch unopposed. There's been, again, that was just a sloppy kind of clearance there for Jack Butland. But yeah, you're right. I think both teams have kind of settled okay. Obviously, Hibs had the best chance on that counter-attack.
There's a chance for Rangers now with Matondo scampering across halfway, and then he gets away from Megwa. Sold in the dummy, driving in the left-hand side. Newell trying to bite back at Matondo. Matondo checks his run, rolls it infield to Lundstrom. He dummied it, hoping it would get to Cantwell. It went to Levitt instead. And it's with Jair Tavares, who slips it out to the left for Stevenson. Back infield to Jair Tavares, the man-on shout from the Hibs fans. Cantwell was around him, he's found Levitt. Again the man-on shout, but this time Levitt loses it to Fabio Silva, who's on it now, playing the quick 1-2 with McCausland, driving up to the edge of the Hibs box. Little flick looking for Cantwell, gives it straight to Newell, looking clear. Would he be better served going it alone? It looked like he had the beating of the Hibs defence there.
You know, that's a chance. It's your first start for a new club. You just came here, you've got a chance just to take it on your right foot and get a shot away, maybe 18, 16 yards out. Definitely would have been better served to try and go and test Marshall rather than the extravagant back heel to maybe pick Todd Cantwell up on a blindside run.
That's going to be the question. Is he a goal scorer? Or is he a half a 9, half a 10? He looks like one of those players who likes to drop in and get the ball to feet.
Well, there's been astronomical transfer fees involving Fabio Silva as well, so he's got plenty to prove. And Rangers perhaps use that hunger between now and the end of the season. As we heard earlier, they're going to be without Abdallah Sima for between 2 and 3 months. Is that long ball from Lundstrom looking for Silva. Obita gets the slightest flick onto it, back to his keeper, and it's with David Marshall. It's 0-0 here, it's 0-0 at McDermott Park between St Johnstone and Aberdeen.
I think early stages and watching Fabio Silva in opening 15-16 minutes. Again, his movement's okay, like you say, he can come off and link. At that point, I think you need runners beyond him, John.
Yeah.
But also, he's not scared to run in behind, as we've seen in the opening moments of the game.
It's a long ball, Mizani giving chase, Johan as well, but it skips through to Butland. An underarm ball from him to Yilmaz on this near side. Rolls it forward to Lundstrom across halfway. To his left on the touchline, Matondo. Back up the line for Lundstrom, comes off Vent out for a Rangers throw-in, taken quickly. Now it's Rascan looking for McCausland, comes right through to Marshall, who gets the game underway quickly again. Underarm ball to Dylan Levitt. Forward it comes to Jair Tavares, and just towed away from him by Rascan. Now McCausland has it wide on the right. It's so sloppy from Hibs. McCausland for Tavernier, will he be made to pay? This cross ball's cut out. Tavares as well to get back and help out and redeem himself, but it's Yilmaz from 25 yards out, left the centre, and it's wildly over the crossbar. And on 17 minutes at Easter Road, it remains Hibs 0, Rangers 0.
Poor play from Tavares. He's got to take it on the back foot and go forward. Instead, he's not aware what's round about him, gets it nipped off him, and all of a sudden Rangers are heading up another direction. He's got to be sharper.
A couple of moments from the likes of Johan, the likes of Tavares, who are clearly good players. They're good finishers as well, but sometimes they just are off when it comes to their passing and their timing. And there's another poor ball from Tavares, comes all the way through to Butland, who bowls it out to this near side for Yilmaz. Back with Balogun at the edge of the D. Square ball for Suter. The Rangers fans in behind Jack Butland's goal have filled out that away end here. I wouldn't say it's the biggest home crowd we've ever seen at Easter Road this evening, which will be a disappointment for Nick Montgomery, but with victories comes turnstile clicking. as Tavernier rolls it to the right for McCausland, tries to cross, cut out by Obita, and behind for a Rangers corner.
Yeah, I think John touched on this just before the game with this 4-4-2 against a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. There's a lot of players just occupying that space between the midfield four and the back four of Hibs. Cantwell in there, Silva comes off, Cantwell goes beyond. There's been good movement between them. They've not really kind of made the most of it as yet, but even in that moment, you're getting players in that area. I think it's tough when you face this system and you play this way that Hibs do.
Rangers have only failed to score twice in their last 23 visits to Easter Road. And they've got a corner here which Yilmaz takes. The header from Balogun. Matondo at the back post couldn't get the touch he wanted, which might have drawn the first goal. It stays 0-0 and it's a Hibs goal kick.
Yeah, it's a goal-edged opportunity there. I think it's a corner that Leon Balogun just gets a glance on, and it's came off a Hibs head because Steve McLean's gave the corner.
He has,
but
yeah.
Matondo is just there. He looks about a yard or two out. He just needs to connect with probably the inside of his left foot. Would have been better served going for rather than the outside of the right foot. But he gets absolutely no contact on it at all, and it goes out because it must have hit a Hibs player. It goes out for another corner.
The Hibs fans didn't agree with that. You heard the booing in the background. James Tavernier will take this main stand side as Rangers attack the goal to the left. Right footed, he's gone for the back post. Marshall was being held, at least that's what he's claiming. It's gone behind for a goal kick anyway, and he was having a look at Stephen McLean and asking if the Rangers player was impeding him there. No damage done. It stays Hibs 0, Rangers 0. That's always a difficult one because there was one or two green shirts around the goalkeeper as well, as Hibs play the ball long and straight out of play for a Rangers throw-in. But it's not actually taking a brilliant Rangers performance for them to take a stranglehold in this game. Hibs are being so wasteful in possession when they have it.
Yeah, last 5-10 minutes, everybody's had a little shot. These sloppy passes, rushed passes forward, not even close to their targets.
Rangers in possession. Ross McCausland on the far side touchline. Infield to Raskan, to Tavernier. Sweeps it right to left of the centre circle for Balogun. He squares it to Suter. Once the other side of the capital. Raskan out to Tavernier, up the line for McCausland. Raskan continued his run, he's used him as the decoys. McCausland, who comes infield into a central area, rolls it to the left for Yilmaz, takes a touch, looks up, it's a decent ball in, just flicked away from Fabio Silva by Stevenson. The referee's given it Hibs way, and it stays nothing each.
It was tremendous defending from Stevenson. He got himself back into that position, just got his head in it, got a little pushing back.
Approaching the 600 appearance mark now, John. He's well up the list of Hibs appearances for this club. He was a guy that you got going at this football club, of course.
He's been a great servant to the club, 36 now, and still putting in decent performances. A great attitude, great professional, great example for every young player at the club.
Must be a massive help for Nick Montgomery having the likes of he and Paul Hanlon, who know this club inside out, around the squad. No Hanlon tonight. Both, of course, part of that historic win in that Scottish Cup final against Rangers in 2016. There's a collision between Will Fish and Silva, and that's going to be a Hibs free kick. Fish has stayed on the ground. Let's go to Perth. It's 0-0 here as we approach the end of the first quarter. Willie Miller watching St Johnstone Aberdeen at McDermott.
Yeah, Liam, these games are always tight, and there'll be no surprise that it is 0-0. I'm hoping for maybe more than the one shot and goal that I've had so far. Dante Polvara from just outside the box, good effort, left foot drive, but well saved from Mitov. As for the home side, they're organised, they're disciplined, they haven't had a shot and goal, they haven't been in the Aberdeen penalty box. Aberdeen with the bulk of possession, but not a great spectacle so far. Let's hope it improves.
You could have taken one of Willie's reports from the previous meeting between the two clubs and it would probably sound exactly the same. It was 0-0 between those two earlier in the campaign. I think only once in the last 18 meetings has there been more than 2 goals in a game between St Johnstone and Aberdeen, and a lot of the time it's less than that. It's no surprise it's goalless in that one, as Marshall plays short there to Newell, first time to Obita. There are normally goals, and lots of them, when these two that we are watching here in the capital go head to head. None as yet though, and that is the quarter mark as Fish goes long and looking for Dylan Venta, gets a little touch onto it, but Balogun comes across and covers himself well and wins the throw-in of Dylan Venta, and out of play it goes for Rangers, and Yilmaz will have the throw. I have to say, Kenny, Leon Balogun has proven, I think, that he can be a very useful squad member for Rangers this season. He was in Siberia under Michael Beale.
You know what? I think he's become more than an important squad member now, Liam. I think he's the #1 choice to play alongside Connor Goldson, and I actually think he's equally performed as well as Connor Goldson since he's came into the team.
Cross for Hibs, Venta meets it, heads it down onto Balogun. The Hibs fans scream for a penalty for handball against Leon Balogun. It goes out of play for a Rangers throw-in on this near side. And I think Stephen McLean is suggesting there was a little push there as well as that came in, so it may well be that Rangers are going to get a free kick here. And that will mean, in fact, no, it is a throw-in. I thought he was intimating there was a... He has given the free kick, yeah, okay. So it was a push, but he is
he made
that
gesture. He made that gesture with Venti, the young man, just there's a push at the back, just so he didn't have to make a decision on the penalty, I think.
Well, he's having a little listen into what Andrew Dallas has got to say for himself, though.
It's going to be interesting because Venti was sure, he was saying to the referee, I never pushed him.
But he's gave the free kick before any decision, so there's nothing that can be done, I'm sure.
Well, if he has made the decision, blown the whistle before it, then that is correct. You're right, Kenny, and that appears to be the situation. The game gets back underway, and it is 0-0 on 24. It's back with Jack Butland. Rangers keeper, walking pace, comes to the edge of his box, launches it long with the right foot out to this near side where it evades Ravi Matondo, and out of play for a throw into Hibs on this near side. Negwa's going to take it.
Philip Clement just asking, looking like he's asking for more energy for his team. You know, like they've got the ball, they're very, very static in that attack. Very little options for Jack Butland there. He just clears it towards Matondo, who's not the greatest target anyway, in the turnover possession.
Balogun rolling it back to his keeper. Butland short to Suter. Suter then squaring it out to Balogun again, moves it in the field to Lundstrom, which drops into that quarterback position, if you like. Out to Suter on the right hand side, infield to Nicholas Raskan, right of the centre circle, short ball, side foot forward to McCausland. On the turn, against a misunderstanding with Tavernier. I think that had gone out of play, at least it looked like it had. Linesman doesn't think so. He's bouncing off the hand of Lundstrom. It didn't come off his foot first though. And that's going to go out of play on this near side for a Rangers. 25 and a half played, nothing each. And it's John Lundstrom who has it on this near side. Long ball looking for Matondo. It's going to drift away from him though. Behind for the goal kick to Hibernian. Of course, John Lundstrom infamously sent off here last season and was later rescinded. And there will be a goal kick to Hibs.
Interesting tactically, Matondo's coming in the pitch, McCausland's coming in the pitch. If I was the Rangers manager, I'd be saying to both of them, hug the touchline, stretch Hibs back four. They're coming in and making it easier for Hibs back four, and Hibs two sitting midfield players.
Yilmaz facing his own goal with Johan breathing down his neck, not exactly what he wants, but he gets it back to Butland, who clears right-footed into the centre circle. Lubita first time forward, it breaks to Balogun. Balogun finds Lundstrom, forward to Raskan. Suddenly it's opened up a little bit here for the visitors. Raskan out to Matondo, Cantwell in support. Matondo skips in field, tries to dig out a shot, does get enough power on it to find Raskan at the edge of the box. Silva back to Lundstrom, now Tavernier to Lundstrom and Matondo. Rangers trying to weave their way through here. It's Cantwell back to Ravi Matondo. Silva makes a movement ahead of him as angle ball in comes off Venter. That works out perfectly for Will Fish, who can clear and then breaks Balogun's way in the centre circle. Back to Suter, then to Tavernier and out to McCausland. Stevenson with the challenge, and they're happy with it. It's back with Suter though for Rangers, and back to Jack Butland. These anomalies in football. Celtic have had plenty struggles at Easter Road in recent years. Indeed, Brendan Rodgers has yet to taste a victory here at Easter Road, but Rangers have had fewer issues with getting results here as Tavernier picks up midway inside Hibernian territory. Back to Suter, right of the centre circle. Infield it comes to Balogun, out to Yilmaz. 0-0 here, 0-0 in Perth. It's as it was when we all began the evening. It's back with Balogun. A little ball infield to Lundstrom. It's yet to catch fire, it's fair to say, this one. It's a long ball for Fabio Silva to chase. He's at least prevented the goal kick and slips it out for a throw-in down by the corner flag to keep Hibs hemmed in here. Megwa over the throw-in. He's been told to move back a bit by Stephen McLean, who is reffing a game here for the first time this season. And there's Megwa over at regular for the Diamonds in the first half of the season. He was on loan at Kelty Hearts last season. A little pirouette by Johan. He's lost out to Matondo. And breaks to Megwa, who slips it back to his keeper. David Marshall out towards Stevenson. Is he going to get there? He's done really well, but he can only fire it first time forward in the hope it would reach Jai Tavares. It went straight through though to Tavernier, who finds Lundstrom back to Tavernier and infield to Suter. It's Sports Sound here at BBC Radio Scotland. Extra 810 medium wave and online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. The Scottish Premiership well and truly back this week. It's Raskan right hand side of the Hibs box, low ball in, cleared by Obita. And Suter will pick up the scraps, goes back into his own half and goes back to Jack Butland. Two, I would imagine, unimpressed managers standing down at the edge of their technical areas down below us as we watch from up at the back of the main stand. One of the finest views in Scottish football, this.
I must say, I think Mick Montgomery will be pretty happy with the way it's going. I know Rangers have kind of seized control, but they've not really created anything of any substance. Again, I've got to agree with John, after seeing how Matondo started in that opening 5-10 minutes, you expect them to be that wide.
Yilmaz in behind the defence, left-hand side, shoots and scores! It's come from nowhere! A brilliant run by Ridvan Yilmaz, in behind Megwa, left-hand side of the box, and he leathers it home past Marshall in his near post to give Rangers a crucial lead here in Edinburgh. Hibernian 0, Rangers 1 on the half hour.
And it's a great run for Yilmaz, coming from that kind of out-to-in run. He goes and makes that little diagonal run behind the young fullback. And it's a wonderful pass for John Lundstrom. He just scoops it up in there. One touch for Yilmaz, gets his body across and smashes it into David Marshall's near post.
Terrific pass, perfectly timed run, penetrating run in behind. Good first touch, bounces up nice from catching the half volley. Keeper probably no chance, right inside the near post. Power and accuracy.
It's a great finish by Yilmaz. It's his second Rangers goal. We were talking about him earlier on, Kenny, and his worth to the Rangers squad, and there again justifying his inclusion in the team.
Absolutely. Again, I think he's came on again. We touched on the game just before the break where I thought he was excellent, and that maybe, at least if he's going to move, that might put another £1 million on his transfer fee, Leo.
Well,
goal scoring left back.
Yeah, well, his other one was pretty good, wasn't it? The League Cup
was outstanding.
Mazy run, hit from outside the box against Livingston as Fish goes back to his keeper. Now, I think you just about finished the sentence, Nick Montgomery will be quite happy, but that was only because Rangers hadn't scored. He's going to be looking at this game now and knowing surely something's going to have to change, because they are, although Vita's in trouble, he's brought Silva down. The referee's blown the whistle. Before that's a free kick. Philippe Clement felt that was a penalty. You heard Kenny say penalty. Silva hit the deck there. He managed to get a goal side of Ibita, who looked like a fish out of water there, and there was no Will Fish in his proper position, right centre back.
You know, I just thought he's misread the pass, and Silva's done well to actually sidestep and get the wrong side of him. There's no doubt it was a penalty if he hadn't gave the foul.
The second phase is definitely a penalty, but the question is, did he just give him a little nudge? And
he's got away with it.
Yeah,
he's got away with it. And so Jordan Obita will be breathing a big sigh of relief, because Rangers could easily have had an opportunity to score a second goal.
You know, just go back on
minutes after the first.
Just go back on Nick Montgomery. When I watch him, John, you said at the start, when you play this way and you're against this 4-3-3 with the midfield overload players in there, I just think I can't see it. There's big spaces in that Hibs backline as well to be exploited. You just can't see Rangers eventually working out and clicking into gear and the chances starting to flow.
Long ball for Hibs, Dylan Ventus chasing it, but it just gets away from him, and it comes skipping through to Jack Butland.
Well, the danger when you go one behind, you've got to start chasing the game, you've got to start committing men forward. The danger is you concede another goal.
Well, if you're looking on that field of play right now, the Hibs back four spread like it should be, McCausland wide and Matondo wide. Look at the space if they can work that into Cantwell. They're 4v4 in this back line here. Rangers need to work it out, and they need to try and find a way, or a better way, to exploit that.
Suter's long ball comes straight through to Will Fish, who's looking to drive forward, but he loses out to Silva, who digs it out back to his goalkeeper. He's got no problem coming back into his own half to help out, has he?
Yeah, I think you've got to give him a lot of credit. He's really happy working back and chasing. He makes runs in behind. He's technically good as well. He takes it in nice.
Poor ball by Balogun, straight to Johan, driving down the right-hand side, slipping it infield to Mizani. His return pass, though, has cut out. Rangers clear now. Matondo's got it, and he's driving forward. Deep into the Hibs half he goes, up towards the edge of the penalty area, faced by Obita. He's on the right foot, he shoots, and it's blocked. And out it goes for a throw-in to Rangers over on that far side. Hibs picked open so easily there. And it was blocked by Obita.
He's defended it well, actually. He was in trouble there when Leon Balogun cleared that Matondo was on the wrong side of the whole Hibs team, apart from the two centre-backs. So Beta done really well just to slow him up, show him onto the right foot and time the block well.
Rangers in possession here. Raskan looking for Cantwell, loses out to Jair Tavares. Now it's Levitt to Newell. Now Johan in the centre circle. Rangers with a 1-0 lead here. Johan goes down, free kick is given.
Once again, Johan, he breaks free and then he does a little scissors, and all he has to do is fire it out wide to his player who's facing him, an easy pass, and he tries to do something clever. He's got to get the basics.
Presumably you can coach that out of him.
No, you can't.
You can't, no.
That's why he's here, I'm telling you. Sadly, you'd like to think you could, but unfortunately it's so difficult.
You know,
it looks so easy.
Here he goes. Johan, edge of the box, can move it to Tavares, left-hand side of the box. Little drop of the shoulder, pulls it across and forces the save from Butland in the near post. And out it goes for a throw-in as Rangers clear. Fantastic play by Jair Tavares. But I think the flag's gone up anyway, so it's going to be an offside against Tavares.
Yeah, but taking nothing away, Jack Butland didn't know that. I mean, Tavares has done great to get a shot on from that angle, and look, it could have been arrowing towards that top corner of Jack Butland's net, and he's got that strong left hand on it. Again, another good save.
Free kick to Rangers. Next action for them, St Mirren on Saturday lunchtime. Hibs are at Kilmarnock. It's a tough old game, that one as well. It's Balogun back to Butland. He's under pressure here, he eventually gets rid of it. Matondo can't get there, it's Megwa winning it, now it's Newell. He wins the throw-in off Lundstrom on the near side level with the Rangers 18. Newell takes it quickly, away by Suter, and then completing the clearance on the volley is Tavernier. Now it's Stevenson back to Obita. Hibs 0, Rangers 1 here in the capital. We're in the final 10 minutes of the opening 45. Fish now outside of the boot, finds Megwa, infield to Johan. Away from Lundstrom, looking to fire it out to the left-hand side. Tavares cut out though by Tavernier. He takes it up towards halfway. Low ball forward, Fabio Silva. Delicate touch for Raskan. Raskan's got Cantwell ahead of him. Into the box, Raskan looking for Cantwell. Well read by Will Fish though. And Hibs have it back with Levitt. We've barely seen Levitt and Newell in the game. And this is going back to what John was talking about earlier on. They're just outnumbered in there and they're unable to dictate things from the middle of the park. And Stevenson comes down the left-hand side, out to the touchline. Tavares gets the nutmeg on Tavernier. He goes down, no free kick. Rangers can give it away. In fact, the free kick has been given belatedly by Stephen McLean. Over on that far side to the midway inside Rangers territory on the Hibs left as they attack the goal to the right.
I must say, even in this last 3 or 4 minutes, both teams are quite big in the game, John. You know, there's been big spaces to then go and counter-attack. I mean, Rangers have had opportunities, maybe not made the most of those opportunities, but even there with Hibs, you could see Levitt is looking for someone just to play it forward. There's so much space to play through, but just they're not making the most of it. Again, it feeds into that. It's a little bit sloppy, a little bit stop-start as well, the game's been. But there's big old spaces there for someone to take the game by the scruff of the neck and exploit it.
It's right over on that touchline. It's actually a bit further than midway inside. The Rangers have to almost a bit level with the edge of the D for Hibs. Newell will take left-footed, bends it in. Johan's header just wide. Butland wasn't diving for it. If that's on target, it's 1-1. But it just goes past the right-hand post of the goal frame. And on 37, it stays Hibs 0, Rangers 1.
Tremendous delivery from Newell in a dangerous area. Johan, fairness to him, he got up there, he's timed it well, connected well, just outside that far post. Good play from Hibs, good delivery.
Yeah, he's got a great delivery, Joe Newell, whether it be corners or free kicks, he always gets it right on the money.
Remains 1-0 to the visitors. 0-0 in Perth between St Johnstone and Aberdeen. The least surprising scoreline of the season. Lundstrom out to McCausland on the far side. Rolls it back to Suter. And now it's with Balogun just outside his own box. And taking it for a walk. The goal scorer, Yilmaz, is the target of the pass. It's through and it goes. First time with the outside of the boot, looking for Cantwell. Cut out by Fish. He clears. Chested down by Venta for Levitt. Back to Dylan Venta, who wins the throw-in off Matondo. And Hibs have one midway inside their own half. Megwa to Levitt. Back to Megwa and then to Fish, and then back to his goalkeeper, Marshall. He'll then play it short just outside his box for Obita. Obita taking it up towards the halfway line. Moves it to his right for Levitt, left of the centre circle. The Welshman forward to Johan, moving in field, showing too much of it to Lundstrom. Picked up by Raskan. Raskan looks up, looks to fire it out to Cantwell on the far side, cut out by Newell. Both teams have been sloppy at times in the game. Hibs 0, Rangers 1. Jair Tavares wide on the left. They are taking on Tavernier, looking to beat him for pace, but the Rangers skipper reacts well and rolls it back to his keeper, and Butlin hits it first time with the right foot. It comes all the way through to Fabio Silva, who finds Cantwell, who returns it to Fabio Silva on the right. Up against Obita, waiting for the overlap from McCausland. It arrives now. Ross McCausland has it. Little ball infield to Lundstrom, then to Cantwell, back to John Lundstrom. Open the scoring at Dumbarton in the Cup on Saturday. Back to Cantwell, and then a misunderstanding between Silva and McCausland. And it breaks back Hibs way, and it's with David Marshall, who clears with the right foot. Raskan's little header out wide comes to Tavares for Hibs though. Infield to Levitt, and then back to Stevenson. And back to the edge of his own box for Obita. Short ball for Fish, and then out to this near side for Megwa. Faced by Matondo, he decides to go back the way to Will Fish. It's easy possession this for Hibs. Not penetrating really from open play since that early Ellie Johan opportunity. Here is Johan coming deep for it into the centre circle, and Mizani has had it nicked off him there by Fabio Silva, who shields the ball well against the new Hibs signing. It's now with Matondo firing it out to the right there for McCausland, attacking the Hibernian box. At the edge of the area, he finds Matondo, sweeps it up high into the air, and it's plucked out of the air by David Marshall, just under his crossbar. And into the final 5 minutes of the first half we go here. Hibs 0, Rangers 1.
Yeah, and I think that'll actually go down as a shot on target, to be honest with you, Liam, but it was never ever going to threaten that goal. Again, young McCausland, driver inside, just looking for a man. He's looking for a bound pass. And just never got it from Matondo. Another
dreadful ball. Obita, and he's committed himself forward there, leaving the gap at the back. It's fortunate Fabio Silva can only switch it out to this near side, and it goes into touch. And that's going to be a throw-in. But he'd committed himself there, John, hadn't he, Obita? He needs to, if he's going to do that, he needs to get the pass right.
He's got to make sure when you're up there, he's going to make sure he gets his pass. So many players have been sloppy, giving the ball away.
There's Johan wide right of the Rangers penalty area. It's away from Balogun, but comes away from the Rangers goal. Finds Levitt. Levitt to Johan, looks up at the goal, moves on to the left, shoots! Butlin tips it over. That's good from Ellie Johan this time. That's what he is capable of. But it is just a corner. Stays 1-0 Rangers.
No scissors, no step over, just a simple chop it onto your left foot and have a strike. Nothing clever, because he's sharp off the mark.
Yeah, got good power behind it, but it was just straight above the head of Jack Butlin. Comfortable save.
So it will be a corner kick to Hibernian, who are looking for an equaliser before the break. Joe Newell, of course, is over it. Can the Hibs skipper for the night conjure up here? Approaching 42 minutes. That Rid van Yilmaz goal separating the teams. He's taken it short into the box to Vente, back to Newell. Pushes it back to the edge of the area, but only to the benefit of Rangers and Fabio Silva, who felt he was fouled there. As Hibs win it back, two ransacked him. One of them was Levitt, the other was Megwa. It's now with Stevenson. Everyone bar David Marshall's in the Rangers half. Out to that left-hand side. Miziani moving in field. Little ball to the edge of the penalty area for Venta. Now it's with Johan. Now Megwa. Megwa encouraged to shoot. He does so. Blocked by Leon Balogun though. And the break goes Cantwell's way. Cantwell taking it out to this near side and brought crashing to the ground and into the Hibs dugout there by Megwa. That's gone down well with the home fans, but not so much with the Rangers technical area and with the Rangers manager Philippe Clement, who's standing out there with his arms outstretched, look of it, a free kick and potentially further punishment against Megwa.
You know, Cantwell's hurt his groin, and the lead away to that. He was coming across, you could see him slowing up, you could feel it was either his groin or his thigh. A couple of times he's went for it, and I think he was just trying to run it out as it was going out to play. And then two Hibs players have came in with a really heavy challenge. I think Nick Montgomery got involved and got wiped out as well, but Cantwell had injured himself prior to that tackle going in, and he's taking a sore one.
We're only seeing him again now, and he went crashing into that Hibs dugout. And he's limping his way back onto the pitch as the Rangers number 13. And we are getting very close to the half-time interval here. 1-0 Rangers, 0-0 in Perth between St Johnstone and Aberdeen. Not much going on there by the looks and sounds of things. And why don't we go to Willie Miller and see how it is going as the first half draws to its conclusion at McDermott. Willie.
Yeah, Liam, you know, pretty much the same story that I gave you earlier. You know, two teams that you know, have filled the midfield. There's plenty of the ball being passed, but in areas that are not hurting the opposition. Very few chances indeed. Aberdeen's had a couple of opportunities at Polvara strike. Jack McKenzie did really well down the left. Good cross into the box, no takers. And for St Johnstone, only Graham Carey, poor shot by the post. So we're hoping for better fare in the second half.
Fabio Silva with a shot here. It's blocked, breaks to Tavernier. That's a brilliant save by Marshall. Brilliant reactions. I think the flag's gone up. Yes, it has, for offside. In any case, Marshall didn't know that. Tavernier on the volley. Marshall with the save. I think he's hurt himself in the process of making that save. And it stays Hibs 0, Rangers 1. It is a free kick to Hibernian for offside. But that again just goes to prove that David Marshall still got it.
You know, it was actually good play. You could sense the makings of something happening. There was link up between McCausland. Firstly tried to pick Tavernier out, then it falls to Silva. Cantwell's involved. Eventually it found its way through to Tavernier. And I must say, I don't think David Marshall knows anything or doesn't know too much about it. I think maybe hit him straight on the top of the head and over. Again, he wasn't to know that James Tavernier might have just drifted offside. So it was a big save at that moment.
3 minutes have been added on at the end of the first half. We're into the first of them now.
I must say, it's not been a great game of football, you know, not a great spectacle in the opening game back in after the break. Both teams been pretty sloppy. Rangers kind of made the most of their one really good chance. Hibs not. Both teams been sloppy in transition.
Hibs have had a few chances though. Nelly Johans had a couple of attempts at either end of the half. The Suter comes forward looking for Matondo. Marshall will get there though. He comes to the right hand side of his box and clears. Half time in Perth. The St Johnstone 0, Aberdeen 0. Shock as Tavernier picks up on the right from Rascan and goes back to his goalkeeper. He played almost a minute of the three. Yeah, John, it hasn't been a thing of beauty here, but at the end of the day, Philippe Clement and Rangers supporters, if they win this game 1-0, and it's been a scrappy affair that they won't watch again, they won't care because it's 3 points.
I think the manager will be happy that they're in front, but I don't think he'll be happy with any of their play. There's been for me a lack of tempo. The final third, I think they should be doing better. They should be working the Hibs goalkeeper more. They've had possession, what I would say, no real clean possession.
Ross McCausland picking up wide in the right, forcing it forward to Cantwell at the edge of the penalty area. Cantwell shoots and scores a wonderful goal. Todd Cantwell smashes a rocket past David Marshall from the edge of the area in first half stoppage time. And the Rangers supporters celebrate wildly up the other end of Easter Road. That is a crushing blow for the Hibees, and it's a huge goal for Rangers as they chase down Celtic at the top of the Premiership. It is Hibernian 0, Rangers 2, first half stoppage time.
And it's the two bits of real quality in the half. A pass with John Lundstrom to find Ridvan Yilmaz, who finishes, and a wonderful, I think again it's McCausland again picking that pass into Cantwell, and he just turns and shoots on the second touch, and he smashes it again. It's past David Marshall before he can even react.
He's been trying to get in that little pocket between the Hibs' two central midfielders and the two central defenders. He got in it there, but the key is the pass was fired through nice and firm. He never took it back into his midfield, took it on the back foot. Nice first touch, and he's hit it with his laces. Clean strike, a wonderful goal. Disappointing from him just before half time.
Yeah, and it's yet another example of the yawning, gargantuan chasm between the top two and the rest of Scottish football and the rest of the Premiership. They're miles ahead. are Celtic and Rangers, and the other sides can't live with them across a season. They get the odd result against them, but the gap is as big as it has ever been over the last few seasons. And this is another example of it. Rangers now enjoying a 2-0 lead, and they've been nowhere near their best, but they're 2-0 up at Easter Road in Edinburgh.
Yeah, they've not
sobering for Hibs.
Yeah, they've not been getting. I mean, I must say, I've got concerns for this Hibs team and where they go over the course of the season and where they end up. I just watch them, I think they're so easy to play against.
Half-time, boos from the Hibs fans, understandable. With boos from the home fans on the other side of this very city this time last night. Hearts roared back to beat Dundee 3-2 from 2-0 down at half-time. You don't see Hibs doing the same to Rangers tonight. Todd Cantwell adding to that Ridvan Yilmaz goal on the stroke of half-time to double the Rangers lead, and there's surely no way back for Hibernian now. Two really well taken goals. Yilmaz with a fine finish in the near post as he smashed it past Marshall. Cantwell's goal's even better. A minute and a half into first half stoppage time, and it was a rocket past David Marshall, as Kenny Miller said. It was past him before he could react, and that means the half-time scoreline here under the lights in the Port of Leith is Hibernian 0, Rangers 2.
The Scottish Premiership.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Top flight action for you this evening. You can hear the Rangers fans in the background there. Hibs 0, Rangers 2 at half-time. We'll get Tom English's thoughts on that in the next couple of minutes. Two games in the top flight this evening. Let's then get to McDermott Park. St Johnstone against Aberdeen. There for us, Willie Miller.
Thanks, Kenny. Do you have to come to me?
Willie,
to be honest, there's very little to be said in this first half, but I'll do my best to just try to find the words to explain how poor it's been. It has been really scrappy. You know, there's been virtually no chances. The Povara strike with the left foot. Listen, he's outside the box. He's getting up. He's supporting Majowski, but Majowski's had virtually no support from the midfield at all. And he's curled one towards the far post. It's a decent save from Mitov, you know, but that's about it. The midfield is just, you know, it's a congregation of midfield players who just want to pass the ball, but they don't really want to hurt the opposition. They're quite happy playing the little passes and getting it and the little 1-2s and getting it back. But at some point, someone has got to take responsibility and actually try to hurt the opposition defence. Nobody's taking that responsibility. Two lone strikers, one on either side of the park, a midfield that is just full of players that want to pass the ball, and most of these passes are either back the way or square passes. You know, someone has got to take responsibility in this game. I think the managers have got to take responsibility. Now, Craig Levein might be happy enough, you know, it's goalless, and I suppose the run that he's on, then maybe he's delighted if it ends up 0-0 at the end of the day. For Aberdeen, it's just no use. There's no point. You know, Hearts are miles ahead at this moment in time. They're playing catch-up. They've got the 4 games. This is one of them. They've got to try and take advantage of it. It needs to be better in the second half from both teams. But I suppose if it finishes 0-0, then St Johnstone will be happy. If it finishes 0-0 or worse for Aberdeen, then you can say that third spot is over.
Yeah, it's interesting, Willie, because you said that before the game. I asked you to rate Aberdeen's chances of reeling in Hearts, and certainly making it a tight race towards the end of the season. And I asked you if you had confidence given what you've seen this season, and you said, albeit they've been in good form of late, but they've just been so inconsistent throughout the whole campaign.
Yeah, they have been. You know, and the issue is they've got one goal scorer. Really, McGrath has chipped in with a few goals this season, but he's been non-existent tonight. He has had a good first half of the season at times, but it's been so inconsistent. But when I look at them, you know, tonight there is no width at all. By the way, there's no width from either team. It's like two teams playing like boxes in the midfield with, you know, 4 midfield players a piece, and relying on either wing backs or full backs to get forward. As far as Aberdeen's concerned, no, they need to up their game. This is important. This is vital. You know, they've got a travelling support down again, and they've been bored with the first half. So it needs to be, the tempo needs to be higher for Aberdeen, in the second half. They've got to try and get much more support to Majowski. Majowski, if he can get chances, we all know he can take them, but you've got to be able to create chances for the striker, and they haven't been doing that either. So as far as that third spot at half-time, Kenny, it's a far thought in my mind that they can do that. But who's to say? There's Hearts turning it round in the second half last night. So Aberdeen might, if they have the right attitude, if they commit players forward, could take the full 3 points, because St Johnstone have not shown anything at all in the Aberdeen box. So for Aberdeen supporters, there is hope. For St Johnstone supporters, well, it's been a bit of a bore, but I suppose if it ends up 0-0, they will definitely be the happier team.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Willie. Tom English alongside me in the studio. Tom, how do we laugh there when Liam handed to Willie for an update? I think about half an hour gone, and Willie said it's 0-0, and Liam said the least surprising scoreline of the season, because you were highlighting earlier on the lack of goals for the home side as well.
Yeah, we've got both matches on the screen in front of us, and that's the Johnstone Aberdeen game. Just every time I look at it, it looks like a joyless grind. It doesn't look like anybody out there is enjoying the game. It doesn't look like anybody in the stands is enjoying it. I think they should just toss a coin at half time and decide who wins, save everyone a lot of grief in the second half.
I'm for that. Yeah, let's go home early.
It's just, you used the word, Willie, boring, and that's from watching it here. It's just nobody's trying to make anything happen.
There's no quality.
There's no attitude. Like Aberdeen are a better team than St Johnstone. They've got better players. There's no doubt about that. They've got some very good players. But you couldn't tell by looking at that. It just looks a lot of muck.
It's passive, Tom. It's passive.
Yeah.
It's okay having the ball and it's okay passing the ball, and it's nice at times. But at some point, you've got to try and hurt the opposition. And they just aren't doing that. They're not committing players forward. There's no runs up to support Majowski from an Aberdeen point of view. Jayesime is the same. He's not getting any support from the midfield. It's a lone furrow that both strikers are ploughing. And you're right. It's morbid here. The fans are so quiet. Okay, there's a drum in the corner, and thankfully there is a drum in the corner. Otherwise, there'd been no noise whatsoever. And the
Keep
Aberdeen
you awake,
fans,
will it? The drum, the noise?
Yeah, absolutely. I need something to keep me awake.
Are both of
Coffee,
these,
please, coffee.
Are both of these teams, Willie, and I look more to Aberdeen because, as I say, I think they're a better team.
Yeah.
Are both of them more minded to not concede rather than to take a risk and score?
Well, there is no risk being taken, Tom. As I said, from both sides, the support from midfield up to the lone striker is not there. And you've got to even not just support, but at times have midfield players running beyond the striker as well to try and get defenders thinking. The defences on both sides haven't had to think about what they had to do because there's been no threat to them. There's no threat. And the amount of sideways passes that I'm watching, and I don't know, the coaches think that's good to watch. Certainly not good to watch. I'm sure the fans aren't enjoying it tonight, and that's okay up to a point. If there's some kind of a thought behind it, we're going to pass this ball forward, and once we get into the dangerous area, we're going to have threats. There is no threat from either side in that final third, and that's why the crowd here are so quiet. I think they're hoping that they can get home early as well. And, I've got to report on it, but I'm doing my best. Believe me, I'm doing my best.
Majowski, who is a very good striker, can't be getting much out of this Aberdeen team. He can't be getting much fun out of this right now.
Well, there's very little coming from the wide areas. McKenzie put in a very decent ball running, the full half of the park, and there was no takers, so maybe in that occasion Majowski could have been in a better position, but other than that he said nothing, and he said no company. At least give him somebody that he can link up with, or they can have some kind of a understanding that they're going to maybe even play a 1-2 and get behind the St Johnstone back three. It's been so easy for the St Johnstone back three. They've not been tested at all. And it's just the same at the other end with Aberdeen playing the four, and their only width is from the fullback. There's no width. The Aberdeen four midfield players are all central midfield players. They don't want to go into a wide area, so you're not getting, in behind down the flanks and getting crosses into the box. There's very little penetration from either side, through the middle where all their players are. Listen, I hope that the coaches kind of change tack a little bit in the second half and be a little bit more adventurous to give the fans something to actually enjoy tonight.
You need to.
My big hope is that Dermot doesn't decide to chuck it midway through the second half.
Well, I think,
may lose a reporter.
I think Willie needs to get down into that Aberdeen dressing room at half time.
That would do it.
And give them a thunder blast from the 1980s.
We've all been in the receiving end of that throughout the years, and it certainly works, I can tell you. Let's hope things get better. The 0-0 as Willie's telling us at McDermott Park. Let's get back to our commentary game at Easter Road. Rangers with a 2-0 advantage there. Kenny Miller, a very happy situation for Philippe Coman. Obviously, his side not at their best, but they haven't had to be tonight. You there, Kenny? Slight issue there. I tell you what we'll do. We'll come back to that in just a second, because we can hear now from Scott Brown. We can hear from Scott Brown.
Scott, first of all, welcome back to Scottish football. Why Ayr United?
I think when you go into an interview, you get an understanding of the board and their vision to go forward. And for me, they're building a new stand, as you can see over our shoulder at this moment in time. The chairman's built a new hub for the younger ones coming through to get that understanding of that everyone's together as well at the club, which is fantastic. And he's also putting a lot of money into it as well. And he's got that drive and that understanding of the fans as well, what they want. They want to push up the league. They had a fantastic season last season, finishing second and getting into the playoffs as well. So for us, it's all about us now, how we build on, and they've had 3 fantastic clean sheets in the last game, and we need to build on that now.
The chairman and the managing director see a huge amount of potential at this football club. I'm guessing you do as well.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the thing. They've got that drive to go forward, and they've sat for hours just speaking about football and having an understanding of where we want to go, where the club wants to go, and how they want to drive it as well. But at the same time, they're like, "This is your job, this is our job, and we'll drive it in the same way. But we'll all come together and we'll sit down, we'll talk football. But you give us your version, and we'll give you ours." So it's good that way. They give us that understanding. But I think the main thing is they're honest people, and at a football club, you've got to be honest, because there's a lot of people hide behind each other's backs and talk, but at this football club they're honest. They're all moving in the same direction and they want the best for the football club.
We know all about your career as a player. How do you approach management? Because we know that good players don't necessarily make good managers, but the guys here have already talked about the way that you, let me quote them correctly, outperformed your budget down at Fleetwood, so they saw that you made a team better.
Yeah, we finished 13th in our first league, in the league for the first year. So for us, it was a good start, and we were building something that was going to take time. We understood that, but for us now, it's to come here. It's to look forward, and as you say, everyone wants to look up at this football club. I think it's a sleeping giant. We can push on, and we've got the fan base and we've got the directors on board as well, that they all want to push the club in one direction.
What do you make of the playing squad that you've inherited here? I know you're just in the door.
Yeah, we've been able to look at them in the last couple of days, and we've went through quite a lot of them. We've got a lot of young players that are keen, that want to improve, which is fantastic for us as well, because they will want to work hard, they want to do extra sessions, they want to see how far they can push their bodies as well. But at the same time, there's a couple of experienced lads as well that I've known for a long time that's definitely going to help the squad.
There's a little matter of a trip to Ibrox coming up, because you're not only trying to get up the league, but you've got a cracking Scottish Cup draw. You'll get a right royal welcome there, won't you?
Yeah, we'll take care of that when that game comes up. But for us, it's important that we just make sure that we focus on Saturday. And Queen's away is going to be a big game for the lads. We're going to Hampden. It's a good stadium for all the lads to go and play in, but it's also a big pitch as well. So we need to, when we do get the ball back, we need to make sure we do control it. But we're also structurally secure behind the ball. We're solid throughout the middle of the team, and we're focused as well, because I'm sure Callum will have them well drilled. He's been in the job a little bit longer than what I have. But at the same time, we're on a good run, so we need to make sure the lads stay positive and go there believing that we can win the game.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder! What a goal!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Scott Brown there speaking with our reporter Keridin Idsan. He has taken over the managerial reins at Ayr United. He'll be assisted by Stephen Whittaker. Tom English, your thoughts on that appointment?
I'm delighted he's back in Scottish football. I think he was throughout for most of his career. He was the most talked about man in the game in this country, and it's good to have him back. I wish him well. I think at Fleetwood he did his first season as a manager. I thought he did well. Fleetwood's results. They had 20 draws in all competitions, Fleetwood, in his first season.
Goodness.
20 draws, and he had a ton of games where he lost by a goal. And a lot of those games with those draws and those one-goal defeats, the goal went against them very late on. It was kind of a freakish season. Started this season, went awry, and he got the sack. But it's no, I think it's good for Ayr. He's a guy with a lot of presence, a lot of hunger. The Brendan Rodgers connection won't hurt. I think he might get a player or two from Celtic because his relationship with Brendan Rodgers is outstanding. He says once told me he's kept every single one of Brendan Rodgers' training sessions in notebooks. So he knows his stuff, and I'm intrigued to see how he gets on.
Yeah, we shall find out. Good to see him back in the game. As Tom said, they're away to Queen's Park on Saturday. We'll have full coverage of that on Open All Mics. Let's get back then to our commentary match at Easter Road and get the thoughts of Kenny Miller on that first half performance from Rangers. Kenny?
You know, I didn't think it was great. I think it's been quite similar to a lot of the performances I've seen for this Rangers team since Philippe Clement come in. It's been maybe not scintillating, sensational stuff, but what this team are doing, that they're winning games of football, they're getting the job done, and what they've done is they've scored 2 really, really good goals in their best chances of the game. So they've been really ruthless when their opportunities and their moments have came along. So again, it's no surprise that they're leading here, as much as they've not been particularly, I mean, they've not been their best, I would say that, but they've got more than enough to really trouble this Hibs team.
Yeah, let's then get back to our commentary team. Second half commentary to come from Easter Road with John Collins, Kenny Miller and Liam McLeod.
And straight to pitch side, Brian McLaughlin for a double Rangers change for the start of the second half.
Yeah, Todd Cantwell, I think he was actually going to be coming off anyway because he was suffering from a groin problem before he scored that wonderful goal. So Cantwell is off, as is Nicholas Raskin. 2 players coming on, Tom Lawrence and Dujon Sterling.
As Hibs get the second half underway in the green and white, right to left towards the famous 5 end. They've got a massive task in their hands here to take anything from this game. As Venta plays it first time to Johan, same as for them as he pulls it across, cleared by Suter. Low ball came across and it just about made its way to Mizani. And that goes out of play for a Rangers throw-in over on the far side. So Marshall in goal for Hibs, Megwa, Fisher, Bita and Stevenson. Johan and Tavares are wide with Levitt and Newell in the middle, with Mizani and Venta up front. For Rangers then, Butland in goal, Tavernier, Suter, Ballig and Yilmaz, who got their first. Campbell got the second, he's come off. It's Lawrence, Lundstrom and Sterling, McCausland and Matondo either side of Fabio Silva. As Hibs come forward with Newell, looking to slip it through for Mizani, cleared there by Yilmaz, out for a Hibs throw-in. They've started the second half like they mean business, as it's picked up on the far side. Newell gets the cross ball in. It's just a bit too high for Jair Tavares. It goes behind, just off the top of his head for a goal kick. The deadlock has been broken though in Perth. Willie Miller watching St Johnstone Aberdeen.
Yeah, second half business has been done by St Johnstone, and it's a goal very early, 48 minutes, just the start of this second half. It comes into the box, it's not clear, it goes up in the air. Graham Carey takes it with his left foot and he drives it towards the near post. For me, Roos have got to do better. He goes down, he gets a hand to it, it's a tight gap that it actually squeezes through. They're checking something though, so I can't confirm that goal has actually been. Oh no, he's away to have a look at the box, so we'll have to see what the problem seems to have been, but so far at this moment in time the goal stands. But you know what happens when the referee goes over and have a look, and I'm sorry, I'm baffled. It looked as though it was a cross into the box. The ball went up in the air. It came out to Graham Carey. He drove it on the volley with his left foot. It went in at the near post and it looked a decent goal. So something must have happened in the build-up.
Yeah, well, I think, is it John Beaton, the referee? He'll be over having a look at that. Here come Rangers with Lundstrom out to the right-hand side for McCausland.
Well, he's given something. It's no goal.
No goal at McDermott. What a blow that's for St Johnstone, who thought they'd got their noses in front against Aberdeen. It remains 0-0. The Dons get away with one. Lundstrom for Rangers at the edge of the box. Matondo skipping in, right-footed, wide, ripples inside net. Really good chance. Tavernier and Silva in good positions on the 6-yard line. Probably entitled to go himself, but he's surely got to go across the goalkeeper to the far corner. It stays in 47.5. Hibs 0, Rangers 2. That was the chance to seal the deal.
Yeah, listen, he actually done great. Initially, there's so many bodies in that central area that he kind of went round the houses, took 2, 3, 4 touches to open up the angle. But again, whether it goes across the goal, he's got to hit the target. You know, you've seen 2 goals going at the near post already tonight. If you're hitting it for that distance with the power at the near post, you've got a chance. But if you just miss the target altogether, you're never going to score.
So just to confirm, 0-0 it remains at McDermott, 2-0 to Rangers here at Easter Road. Hibs in possession, Elie Johan down the right-hand side, 3 in green and white ahead of him, plenty though. Back for the visitors who are wearing their red and navy colours this evening. There's Tom Lawrence, one of the half-time subs, does some work back the way where he puts it out for a throw-in to Hibs over on that far side. Megwa will take it. He gets a little bit of movement from Venta, gives it to Venta, back to Megwa. Facing his own goal, is to slip it back into his own half for Will Fish, the on-loan Manchester United defender. And he plays it to the edge of his box for Marshall, because Will Fish arrived initially his first loan stint here in the January window last year, and impressed enough for Hibs to bring him back in August. A long chip ball for Hibs down this near side, looking for Maizani, but Rangers have enough in the way. Jai Tavares picks up the scraps and rolls it back to halfway for Abita. Now Levitt forward to Newell. Newell looks up, he's got Stevenson in this near side, so chip ball looking for Tavares, but a misunderstanding between the two. And too often that's happened for Hibernian in the attacking third this evening, and it stays Hibs 0, Rangers 2.
Misunderstanding. Newell's looking for Tavares to spin and go in behind, but Tavares just standing staring at him, knowing the ball's over his head. The first thing he's got to do is go and try and chase it, make the bad pass into a good pass. Instead he stands still.
Rangers have it with Balogun. Now Lundstrom. The Rangers looking good to go back to within 5 of Celtic at the top of the Premiership. Hibs with that gap of 14 points between themselves and Hearts. They do have 2 games in hand, but one of those is this one. It's a big gap as Newell loses out in the midfield to Dujon Sterling. Now it's Fabio Silva, and it's 3-on-2 for Rangers. Silva finds McCausland, but he couldn't quite find the weight of pass to find the Northern Irishman, and Abita's there to clear. That was promising for Rangers.
He's passed it too early, John. You've got to go and commit the player and take him towards the end of the box, suck Abita in, and then potentially slip him.
He played it too early and he was disappointed. The weight of the pass, everything about it was wrong. Accuracy, weight of the pass.
Rangers have it with Tavernier. And Tavernier will find Dujon Sterling. Has actually done a really good job in midfield since coming into the side in that position. Now it's McCausland to Sterling, the right angle of the box. McCausland back to Lundstrom, plays it to Lawrence. First time ball for Silva's blocked by Stevenson, breaks to Lundstrom. Snapshot was wide of the right hand post, and it stays Hibs 0, Rangers 2.
Yeah, it's an interesting substitution, that, actually choosing Dujon Sterling to come on instead of Ryan Jack. I know with Ryan being out of contract towards the end of the season, where is his place in this Philippe Clement squad?
What's going to happen with him, do you think?
Well, listen, I think Dujon Sterling has done a decent enough job, but he's not a midfielder. Ryan Jack's a very good centre midfielder, and he's getting overlooked at this moment in time for Dujon.
Great ball down the right, Elie Johan, he's in the Rangers box, looking for Venta in the middle, pulls it back, chance! Oh, saved brilliantly by Butland. Mizani had the opportunity to reduce the arrears. He has to set over the corner. How on earth has Jack Butland kept that one out? It stays Hibs 0, Rangers 2.
Hibs' best move of the match. Megwa played a superb ball down the line for Johan. Head up, makes the right decision. Terrific cut back, and it should be in the back of the net. That excellent save.
Yeah, excellent save. The goal, though, was gaping there. As the corner comes in, it's headed away by Balogun. A real chance for Mizani to grab his first goal for the club in his debut, and then there's a foul by Megwa on Silva, and that takes the pressure off the Rangers defence. But what it does do is it gives the Hibs fans just that little bit of optimism that this game might not be gone yet.
Well, listen, it's not gone. If you can get the next goal, you ask this Rangers team about a lot of questions. I mean, that was a wonderful opportunity. I don't know if they'll get too many more like that over the course of the next 38 minutes or so, but it was a wonderful save. Again, Jack Butland, when the big moments are required, he steps up and makes those saves. You know, not a lot to do, full concentration though when the moment comes.
There's Tavernier on the near side for Rangers. Infield to Suter. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to win a title, then you need your goalkeeper to be of the highest standard, and Jack Butland's been a brilliant replacement for Alan McGregor. As Tavernier finds McCausland, back to Tavernier, the edge of the box. Lawrence, little back heel looking for Tavernier, read and cleared by Lewis Stevenson, and Levitt gives it straight to Dujon Sterling. Central area, rolls it to the left. Yilmaz in a bit of space. Megwa trying to close him down. He's level with the penalty spot. Gets the cross ball in, looking for McCausland at the back area. It's headed behind for the corner by Stevenson as Rangers attack the goal where their supporters are in behind, and no doubt hoping Rangers score a few in this second half.
They're looking lively, aren't they, Rangers now? There's nice little triangle passes, everybody's wanting the ball, they're all looking a little bit sharper, the confidence is there.
2-0 up, isn't it?
Yes,
that
exactly.
second goal was such a big goal just before half-time, and you know, it's the type of game for Tom Lawrence. That's what he can bring to this team, is the connection between the midfield, the wider players, and that striker. He's really, really clever with that one-touch play around about the box.
Yeah, the Cantwell goal in first half stoppage time was a killer blow for Hibs as Yilmaz takes the corner for Rangers. It's behind Balogun, who's back to goal, and it drifts all the way through to Lundstrom on the far side in the penalty area. Low ball back to Sterling, square to Tavernier. Tavernier then switching it out to Yilmaz on the near side, controls it well. He's on his more uncomfortable right hand side here. Yilmaz has done well, he's found Fabio Silva level with the Hibs penalty spot. Back to Yilmaz at the right angle of the penalty area. Square ball, Lawrence out to Silva. First time too much on it for Matondo to deal with. It was bouncing off the shin and behind for a Hibs goal kick. Hibs 0, Rangers 2, and St Johnstone 0, Aberdeen 0, though St Johnstone did have the ball in the net through Graham Carey. It was ruled out after a VAR check. And St Johnstone trying to pull themselves away from trouble at the bottom of the table. Aberdeen not too far ahead of them in truth. It's picked up here by Niziani, who's looking to side through to Venta. He's giving it straight to Balogun. Hibs do have a couple of new signings on the bench, and Luke Amos and Emiliano Marcondes, who we may well see at some point. As Matondo plays it back to Lawrence, looks up, bends the ball in. McCausland will play it across, and it's cleared on the 6-yard line by Joe Newell. Another opportunity there for Rangers to try and add to their lead. A third goal ends this game as a contest. Stays at 2 for now, 10 into the second half.
Yeah, it was a great cross in there for Tom Lawrence, picking Ross McCausland out at that back post, who equally with a wonderful ball back across the inside his left foot.
Matondo's pinching off Abita, right hand side down by the byline, pulls it back, low ball looking for Lawrence, cut out by Levitt. Out of play for a Rangers throw-in. Hibs have lost their way a little bit after starting the second half pretty well, and positively in the last few minutes Rangers beginning to get their hold on the game back as Abita clears. Only as far as Lawrence, tees up for Lundstrom, who couldn't resist the shot with the left foot. It's halfway between the left-hand post and the corner flag, and it stays Hibs 0, Rangers 2.
Hibs are going to try and get hold of some possession, get a little breather with the ball. Their two sitting midfielders are far too deep. They're in next to their centre halves. You don't need two of them in there, you need one dropping in there.
It is with Abita, now Levitt. Levitt up against Tom Lawrence, disguised ball forward to Venta, rolls it out to Stevenson. A little bit of movement on the bench, we'll get to Brian shortly. And so Abita back to Levitt on this near side, and then Levitt switching it to Will Fish. A penalty's been given at McDermott Park. Willie Miller.
Yeah, it was a VAR check again. It's a Conor Barron corner kick. It's drilled into the near post. There's a little flick on. The ball is travelling so quick. I think the referee's pointing. Who's he pointing at? He's pointing at Liam Gordon, saying it came off Liam Gordon's hand. Listen, it took VAR a long time to ask the referee to go and have a look at it. John Beaton, it took him a long time to decide it was a penalty, but he has given the penalty, so it's a penalty to Aberdeen, and Bojan Majowski's the one that fancies it. He's got the hand in the ball just now as the St Johnstone players dispute the decision with the referee.
Okay, Willie, we'll get to you for the penalty. Hibs making a double change. Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, double change. Joe Newell is coming off. The captain receiving Asses, a new sign, Mizan Malouda. Coming on is number 20, Emiliano Marcondes, whose last play on a professional pitch was for a minute substitute in a substitution game in Denmark. He's coming on, as is Jimmy Jeggle.
McCausland has it for Rangers, rolling it to Yilmaz, and Nick Montgomery will hope that changes the course of the game for Hibernian, because it's drifted from them. They're 2-0 down. Remember, Aberdeen have a penalty.
Yep, they do,
at
Liam.
McDermott Park. Willie Miller.
It's Liam. It's Bojan Majovski with the left foot. He's now placed the ball on the spot. Mitov is bouncing about in his goal line as Majovski strikes it. Oh, it ends up in the back of the net to give Aberdeen the lead, but Mitov wasn't far away from getting a hand on it, so Aberdeen take the lead here at McDermott Park.
Well, it's the main man again for Aberdeen, Bojan Majovski, and Aberdeen leads St Johnstone 1-0, not too long after they thought they were behind themselves. As Majovski squeezes the penalty past Mitov. St Johnstone 0, Aberdeen 1 in Perth. And Aberdeen, before a ball was kicked, 17 points off third spot. And this is one of 4 games in hand that they have over the current occupants of third spot, Hearts. They win their 4 matches, they're back to within 5. And indeed, they go to Tynecastle on Saturday, so a chance for them to wound their opponents. Arguably, game of the weekend coming up at Tynecastle, Hearts Aberdeen. And that's cleared by Stevenson out for a throw-in on this near side for Rangers, about level with the edge of the centre circle. Is there a way back into this match for Hibs, John? We're approaching the hour mark. They trailed 2-0. We saw the other half of the Premiership, Edinburgh sides, come from 2-0 down last night.
Of course, you're always in it at 2-0, but the flow of the game at the moment, Rangers are controlling it, dominating possession. You're thinking, where are Hibs going to get up the park? Johann's their choice. Rangers are up the park. Can Hibs counter? It'll be a counter-attack with Johann's legs if they do get up the pitch, but at this moment in time, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing a Hibs come back. Hopefully they can.
It would give us a game, wouldn't it? Because right now there isn't much of a game going on. Rangers are in full and total control here at Easter Road. It's uncomfortable viewing for the Hibernian fans. Here is Emiliano Marcondes with his first touch as a Hibs player on loan from Bournemouth. He's going to get it back here to the centre circle today and looking to knock it through to Jair Tavares. Too much on it though. And it comes all the way through to Butland. We have hit the hour mark in Leith. Hibs 0, Rangers 2.
Yeah, it was a nice idea there from Marcondes. You know, he played a nice 1-2, got on the ball. It was a good run for Tavares. He just got the pass. He was too strong on his left foot. He was trying to just reverse it in between Suter and Balogun for the run of Tavares, but he just got it wrong. Too much on it, straight through to Butland.
Well, the short history that Philip Clement has at Rangers tells you that Hibs aren't coming back into this. They've only conceded more than 1 goal twice since the Belgian took over. That was at Real Betis and at Celtic Park. As Lawrence moves it out to Tavernier on this near side and back to Suter. This is Sports Sound this Wednesday evening on BBC Radio Scotland on 810 medium wave, on Extra, on digital and online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. There is a sports scene highlights programme this evening. Highlights of this one, the game in Perth, and indeed last night's 5-goal thriller at Tynecastle. Here is Tavernier skipping in field, attacking the Hibs box, rolling it infield to Sterling, breaks to McCausland, left-hand side of the box. His effort takes a deflection and loops over Marshall and loops over the crossbar, and that's a Rangers corner, and it stays Hibs 0, Rangers 2. Of course, they've switched the wingers in the second half. Matondo's playing on the right and McCausland's playing on the left.
Yeah, they have, and that was a really good move, working for right across to the left-hand side. Really good pass with Dujon Sterling in the middle of the park, just whips it out to McCausland, who takes the touch. And you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to bend it into the far corner of David Marshall's net, but it takes a good deflection. It was a good block from Wegwa, sends it over corner for Rangers.
Which will be taken by Tavernier, right-footed. Bends it in, it's a good one, flicked away by Fish, and out for another Rangers corner on this near side this time. And Yilmaz comes out to take.
It's a tremendous delivery.
He can't do any more. Oh. Someone's got to be attacking in that near post area.
Whipped it in to perfection. It's just asking to be nodded home.
His assists are as good as his goals, James Tavernier. It's going to be a corner on this near side. Van Yilmaz will take, main stand side. Rangers attacking the southern end of Easter Road. Here comes Yilmaz into the penalty area. It goes, comes off the head of the striker Silva. It spins out to the left-hand side of the box where Lundstrom picks up the scraps, rolls it back the way to Sterling, stepping onto it and then calmly turning it back to Tavernier. Yilmaz is in a wonderful position if he can find him, bends it out to Yilmaz, right hand side of the box, just bounces off his left foot and behind for a Hibs goal kick. 2-0 Rangers, almost in 63, and it's St Johnstone 0, Aberdeen 1 at McDermott Park. And it's going to be a little ball back there by Obita to David Marshall. And it's the Hibs goalkeeper getting it back immediately from Fish. Now out to Obita on this near side. Long ball forward by Obita, underneath it is Suter, puts it out first time, throw in Hibs, midway inside the Rangers half. Hibs being left frustrated, to be honest. Most of the last 10 minutes or so have been played in the Hibernian half. Hibs struggle to do anything with the ball, and there's another loose one from Jimmy Jego as he puts it straight out for a Rangers throw-in on this near side.
And Levitt's getting the throw into his feet. He's got to be aware of the switch he plays. Right back's on. He just fires it back to the thrower. Then it comes back to him again, and he goes back the same direction. Everything's down. 5-10 yard passes when the big switch is on.
That Bojan Mijovski goal, incidentally, that's given Aberdeen the lead from the spot against St Johnstone, was his 17th of the season. Rangers pick up with Yilmaz on the left, looking for Tom Lawrence, stretching his legs up against Obita, who covers across well this time. Got caught there a couple of times in the first half. Back to Marshall, first time ball low to Levitt. Levitt goes long, but it's straight onto the chest of Yilmaz with Johan in behind. Eli Johan has one involvement in the second half.
I mean, that's a great
to tee up that opportunity early on in the second period.
That's a great opportunity for Levitt. He's got the ball in the midfield. Johan's he's making a run in behind. There's 30 yards behind the player. You've got to overhit it, if anything. Underhits it, intercepted, and Rangers come again at them.
Yeah, Lundstrom finds Suter on the near side. Forward to Silva. First time looking for McCausland, but it goes out of play for a Hibs throw on this near side. Lewis Stevenson then bowls it to Levitt. Levitt now back the way to Will Fish, who finds a Obita, squares it back to Fish. 65 on the clock. Just things are not coming as easily to Hibs players tonight as they are to their opposite numbers. It just seems more of a task for Hibernian when they're in possession than it is for Rangers right now. Suter has at the edge of his box. Going to get news of another substitution, this time for Rangers. They made 2 at half-time. They're going to make another one very soon. Suter plays it forward. He gives it straight to Stevenson, who's managed to find Jego. Prodding it through. Marcondes inside the Rangers box. Gets the nutmeg on Lundstrom. Gets goal side. Shot blocked. That was really good from Emiliano Marcondes.
Excellent. Good technique. Shifted it left to right.
Rangers have it with McCausland getting away from Levitt, but Jego slides it in as well. Now here's Emiliano Marcondes out to this near side for Tavares. Moving in field up against McCausland, back to Emiliano, who loses out to Lundstrom. Now it's with Sterling, and then back to Tavernier. Again, it's a decent little bit of play there. He's a little bit unlucky. He would have been annoyed that a Rangers defender seemed to come from nowhere to cut out his route to goal and his route to potentially bringing Hibs back into this.
Yeah, I think it was good play, a little nutmeg. I think it was Lundstrom, but I think it was Leon Balakin just got in and got his body on the line and blocked the shot.
Lundstrom had to be careful as well that he didn't haul him down. As Tavernier finds Lawrence, back to Tavernier, attacking the Hibs box, right foot cross comes in, Obita misses it, but Fish was in behind him to clear. Now Lundstrom picks up the scratch, finds Tavernier, first time back to Sterling, out to this near side for McCausland. Comes back to Dujon. Sterling looks up at the box, decides to go with a big switch out to the left hand side for Matondo, I think we've seen less of in the second half. He's moved back out to the left, and McCausland coming back to the right. Here is Matondo. He's moved into a central area here, faced by Marcondes. He finds Sterling, he looks to shift it out to the right hand side of the box for McCausland. Level with Hibs penalty spot. Rangers looking for the goal that would seal the points. Sterling poking it to McCausland. Moving in field, it's a lovely little ball. The outside finds Tavernier, plays it across. Almost came Fabio Silva's way, but Hibs have enough bodies in the way to make the clearance. They managed to dig it out, but here come Rangers again. Rangers at the edge of the box. The little dipping shot there from Matondo, which is comfortably held on to by Marshall. It stays Hibs 0, Rangers 2, but into the final quarter of the match at Easter Road.
Hibs getting tired, starting to lose their shape. Rangers just popping it through them. I think it's just a matter of time before we see a third goal from Rangers.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it, Kenny?
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. I think you've got there's openings starting to appear. McCausland's getting on the ball more. You see Tom Lawrence is coming into effect. Even Johnstone is actually finding himself in areas high up the pitch where he's getting on the ball unopposed. Very, very passive for a performance for Hibs.
Hibernian in possession over on the right hand side. Megwa stepping in field inside his own half. Short ball to Diego. Diego taking it across halfway, leaving it for Johan on the touchline. It's now level with the edge of the centre circle in the Rangers half in field to Emiliano Marcondes. He finds Levitt looking for Stevenson, but it's in behind them, and that's going to be a throw-in, and that just gets the Hibs supporters backs up and gets them on the back of their own players. Rangers change, Brian.
Yeah, about 22 minutes left on the clock, Liam, and Scott Wright is going to be coming on for those 22 minutes. Many thought he was on his way out at Ibrox earlier on this season. He's going to be replacing the teenager Ross McCausland.
He was back amongst the goals at Dumbarton on Saturday evening. Scott Wright in the competition, and I'm pretty sure that he'll be best remembered for his Rangers career, however long that Rangers career will be. His goal against Hearts in the final of the Scottish Cup in 2022 will be one that he'll always remember. Hibs are going to make a couple of changes. Let's get back down to Brian.
Yeah, Dylan Levitt's evening is over, as is Dylan Vente. Christian Doidge is coming on, and I'm sure there'll be a huge round of applause here for the new boy Luke Amos, who I believe Kenny Miller knows a lot plenty about.
Yeah, I do. I've just watched him quite a bit when he was at QPR under Mark Warburton. Lee Wallace played with him quite a bit as well. Spoke very highly of him, and actually played against him a couple of times when he was a young lad at Tottenham. Thought he was an excellent prospect. I think he's had a few injuries since that moment as well, and he finds himself in Scotland. But what Hibs have got, a very honest player. I think Nick Montgomery was talking about him. Great lad, box to box, full of energy, and he's got a goal in him as well if he can get in there and arrive in the box well.
Hibs have it with David Marshall on the 6-yard line. 20 to play here. 2-0 Rangers. It's 1-0 Aberdeen at McDermott. Miovski penalty separating the two after Graham Carey had the ball in the net, but it was ruled out after the VAR check. Your Hibernian with Will Fish up towards halfway, turns it back. It wasn't a ball that Diego's expecting, and he's panicked. He's given it away, and Dudon Sterling has it for Rangers. He rolls it out wide left for Matondo. Some of the decision making from Hibs players tonight's been woeful. Matondo wins the corner over on the left hand side off Levitt.
And that's what we were saying that before, John, about the game at Ibrox. It doesn't look like they've learned kind of lessons. That's why I've got real concerns for this Hibs team and where they finish up come the end of the season.
They're trying to pass it in dangerous areas, and sometimes the pass that's coming in was at the wrong angle. In fairness, the Rangers are pressing them. They know the passes are coming in central, so they're on the front foot. Rangers, how many times have they intercepted in dangerous areas? So many tonight.
Tavernier's last corner from that far side in front of the southeast corner was magnificent, and comes another one towards the back post, headed away right in front of his own goalkeeper by Will Fish. Lundstrom picks it up on this near side, then to Wright. Now with Sterling out to the touchline. Lundstrom, he kind of got caught in two minds there, eventually scuffed it forward in the hope it got to Wright. Marcondes is there for Hibs, finds Tavares, but he was always under pressure, and Rangers have it back, but it's been pinched back immediately there by Amos, sliding in Sterling to win it back for Rangers. Now it's Yilmaz forward for Fabio Silva, but he isn't going to get onto it. He's behind for the goal kick, a little bit tired there. Fabio Silva, how much longer he's going to last. In fact, Brian McLaughlin can perhaps tell us.
Not very long, yeah,
no,
because Fabio Silva's evening is over. A huge round of applause from the Rangers fans in the south stand there. So Silva's coming off, Dessers is coming on, and I don't think it'll be too long before we see Ryan Jack as well, although not quite just yet.
Cyril Dessers got a new threat there, Kenny, in Fabio Silva, as a man who played that position. How do you think he did tonight?
Listen, we've seen that in the first half. He's a willing worker, tracking back, decent enough movement, running forward. the question would be, is he the guy that's going to score goals to lead Rangers to a league title? I think that question is still unanswered at this moment in time, but it's his first start with his new teammates. You can see little things running about the box. There's maybe a few misunderstandings with his teammates and maybe not quite up to speed on how he wants to play and the service that he needs. So it's it wasn't a bad kind of first start.
That's the first time I've seen him. Technically looks good, likes to come to the ball. For me, I'm not sure about his legs. I don't know if he's got a change of pace. I don't know. That's, to play at the top level, I can see now why he's not played in the English Premier League. But he hasn't played for a long time, so maybe he'll get sharper. But it doesn't look like he's got that change of pace that would frighten centre halves.
No, definitely not. I think, like I say, he's a willing worker, he's a strong runner, but he's not got that real pace.
Here come Rangers. It's into Dessers. First touch, he's inside the box, looks to slip it in. Oh, he's found the net! Cyril Dessers is just on! It's a clever finish as well. Will Fish couldn't keep it out. Dessers celebrates in front of the Rangers supporters. They're number 9 with a point to prove, and it's Hibernian 0, Rangers 3, and plenty Hibs fans now leaving the stadium.
And it was a really clever finisher, bang on. He's just on the pitch. It was a good, again, misplaced pass, intercepted, like John says. I think it was Matondo. He's on the front foot. He reads the pass, gets it, slips a really good pass through to Dessers, and in 3 touches, one to set, one to shift it, and he takes that third touch so quickly and just passes it. Ball past David Marshall, and it's just got enough on it to get it over the line and sneak into the goal before Will Fish could clear it.
I actually thought Will Fish should have got it. From here, it looked like he was going to get it. I don't know if he slipped at the last moment. I think he'll be disappointed. He's not cleared that and put it around the post. But good finish, nice and calm. Never went for power. Just passed it, as you say, bottom corner.
And Kenny, that's Cyril Dessers' 11th Rangers goal. He's beginning to find his feet, is he, at the club?
You know what I would say is I think his numbers in terms of his goal scoring compared to his appearances has actually been okay. In terms of an all-round performance for the number 9, Rangers fans just want more.
He's averaging 1 goal every 3 games, which probably isn't enough for a Rangers striker, is it?
Not to be the main striker, no. I think you're probably going to need somebody to put in at least 20 league goals if you want to be winning a league title, and I'm not too sure he would get that. So it's but again, he's found himself out the team, he's found himself in the team, he still puts himself out there, and like you say, 11 goal, 1 in 3 is not too bad. You know, like it's particularly in the first 6 months of your Rangers career. So he's got a challenger now in terms of Fabio Silva there in the absence of Roof and Danilo. So and I'm sure Fabio Silva will be kicking himself. It's the usual. You work hard and you put the shift in, and your big strike mate comes on and gets the goal on his first touch.
And there's been another goal at McDermott. We're going to go to Willie in just a moment, but Rangers are on the attack again here with Matondo. He's attacking the penalty area. He's inside it now, drops the shoulder, but he puts it out for the goal kick. It's 3-0 Rangers here, and Willie Miller, a big goal at McDermott.
It's an equaliser. It's an equaliser for the home side. David Kelchins, who gets it in. Aberdeen up the other end, but it's a dreadful goal from an Aberdeen point of view. He's not the biggest. He's not small, but he had 2 centre-backs in close attendance, and Roos comes out as well and misjudges his run, and he gets ahead of all 3 of them and just flicks it into the back of the net to Gibson Johnson. I would have to say a deserved equaliser.
A goal on his debut for Keltons. Really important you do that when you're a striker. He has been brought in from Hapoel Tel Aviv, and he has scored what is potentially a massive goal for St Johnstone, even if they don't win the game. Coming from a losing position against the team that finished 3rd last season, still be a decent point. But fancy winning it though, and it's 1-1 in Perth. As Tavernier comes forward for Rangers, he's found Dessers just outside the penalty area, rolls it to Matondo. Thought about picking his spot there, he's shifted on to his left, his efforts blocked by Megwa, and Yuan giving chase out on the far side, and he moves it infield to Megwa at the byline, deep inside his own half. Now Diego shifts it forward, and here's Amos, who puts it straight out of play, and that's going to be a throw-in to Rangers. But just look at the empty green and white seats inside Easter Road. That is a depressing sight. if you're the Hibs board, if you're the Hibs manager, and for the players. That must be so demoralising. Let's go back to Brian. He was tipping that Ryan Jack would be on shortly, and he's been proven correct.
Yeah, Ryan Jack is coming on. He's going to be replacing number 17, Rabi Matondo. And Hibernian also making their 5th and final substitution of the evening. Kanyo Megwa at right back. Not a bad debut, I would have to say, here at Easter Road for the youngster. Obviously came here from Airdrie, but he's going to be replaced by an even younger player, 16-year-old Rory Whittaker.
Yeah, he likes Rory Whittaker, doesn't he, at Montgomery? And one teenager comes on for the other, and that Rangers change Jack off, and Rabi Matondo getting a warm embrace from his manager down below us. 12 to play, Hibs 0, Rangers 3. Is the gap as big as it's ever been, John?
Yeah, I think it is. Celtic and Rangers, I think there's a huge gap. There's not many teams give them games now. Too often they're winning.
That's a sad state of affairs, isn't it?
Well, it is. Obviously, finances, Rangers and Celtic have got so much more funds than the rest of them. But I would like to see the rest of them giving them more of a game. Certainly at home. Celtic Park and Ibrox, when full stadiums, you can understand. But when they're coming here, Easter Road and Tynecastle, I think they should be harder games, closer games.
Yeah, it's almost a league within a league now. The top two battling it out and the rest fighting for everything else. As Balogun picks up, obviously there's only been 2 teams won the league since 1985, but it's the sheer daylight between the top 2 and the rest now is pretty alarming for the other 10 clubs in the top flight, particularly those who have those illusions of grandeur. As it comes back to Butland, just over 10 to play. As Butland do shift it to Suter to his right. 1-1 then at Perth between St Johnstone and Aberdeen. And Kelton's cancelling out that Miovski penalty. It sounds as though, as Willie was saying, a draw and be about the right outcome in that one. Still time for one of them to win it. And just a reminder, sports scene this evening. On BBC One you'll get that highlights of this one, of that one in Perth, and last night's match at Tynecastle. Highlights of that already available at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. That's us just on 80 minutes. Rangers have it, Lundstrom, and Matondo goes back to Scott Wright, just jinks away from Amos, shifting it to his left for Yilmaz. Has it taken off him though by Johan? And there's a foul by Lundstrom and Doidge. No, referee says no. And that's Ryan Jack looking to slip it through towards Dessers, cut out by Whittaker. And now it's a Bita out to the left-hand side for Stevenson. Stevenson just shimmying away from Jack, who sticks with him. Moves it back to Jago. And Jago with the long ball, right-footed forward for Doidge. He got the winner at Forfeit at the weekend. He's chasing it down the near side. Tavernier gets there first and just nonchalantly knocks it back to his keeper from a wide area. Under pressure from Doidge. Now it's Balogun for Jack. Next up for Rangers, one of the more difficult assignments of the season. St Mirren have been pretty strong at home. It's not been as good for them recently. A couple of defeats in recent times in Paisley, but by and large it's been a real fortress. Rangers go there on Saturday lunchtime. We'll be live on Sports Sound with that one. We'll open all mics to come after that. Some huge games, including that Hearts-Aberdeen match, albeit Aberdeen don't win tonight. You just can't see, albeit they came from a long way back last season. It seems that there are other teams who are more consistent this season than they were last, and Kilmarnock being one of them. It's going to be quite difficult, you would imagine, for Aberdeen to reel Hearts in, even if they will have 3 games in hand. As it stands, the gap between those two would be 16 ahead of those two meeting on Saturday. There's Tavares for Hibs on the near side. He's playing it short to the touchline. Stevenson, and he passes it straight out of play for a Rangers throw-in on this near side. Next up for Hibs is a trip to Kilmarnock. I mean, that's a massive game as well. I mean, there's just so many little shootouts between these clubs. Nobody, I mean, okay, Hearts I don't think have hit the their straps at all really this season, yet they're pulling away from everyone else in third. Looks comfortable for them. Everyone else is beating everyone. The exception of Livingston, who haven't beaten anyone.
Hearts have got a better squad, you know, and they're actually playing better. They've got a man banging form at the top of the scoring charts that makes the difference more often than not. And when he does it, and there's another couple of guys that are chipping in.
They are now, yeah.
Hearts will get third. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And by the way, they probably should, you know, with the budget they've got and the players they've got, the squad they've got. It's going to be the fight for the top six for the rest.
Ryan Jack to Lundstrom. You know, they're showboating a bit at the back here. Rangers are popping it around. Hibs can't get anywhere near it, and when they do, it bounces off them and goes back to a Rangers player. 7 of the 90 left. 3-0 to the visitors. Yilmaz, Cantwell and Dessers with the goals. Here's Lundstrom. It's a long ball looking for Dessers. Nabita's there, just nods it forward, and Stevenson. Forward it comes to Amos, out wide left for Jago, clips it forward, cut out by Lundstrom, and now it's with John Suter, who plays it to Jack. It was of paramount importance to Rangers. They won this to go to within 5 of Celtic with a game in hand. Tavernier looks to cross, comes off Stevenson, and out of play for a throw into Rangers down by the corner flag, off to our right.
I can't help feel that Rangers have won this comfortably without really getting out of second gear. You know, it's been a comfortable game pretty much from start to finish.
Butland had to make a couple of saves.
Yeah,
but by and large, you're right.
Save. I think that was a big save at the start of the second half, because if they had that, goals can shift the momentum of a game. So when I think it was Maizani missed that opportunity for the cutback for Yuan, it was a big moment in the game for Hibs.
Rangers have it wide on the left. Sterling's cross, booted away by Will Fish. Lundstrom underneath it, controls and passes it back to Butland. This is just a second defeat at Easter Road for Nick Montgomery. The other was, of course, in the derby at the end of last month. And again, it's been a problem for a few of the clubs in the Premiership to string lengthy runs of wins together. Tavernier out to right on this near side, back to Tavernier, forward to Jack. Lawrence trying to stay on side. Jack plays it across. Lawrence is there and he toes it home. Flag goes up. Lawrence celebrates, but he's going to have to stop the celebrations because the offside flag of Alan Mulvaney was hoisted into the air as that hit the net, and it stays. Hibs 0, Rangers 3.
He's unlucky. It was terrific play by Jack down here on the right hand side. He's delivered a superb ball on the deck, perfect from running in. Just offside.
You know, it was really good actually movement and interchange play on this right hand side between Lawrence and Tavernier and Jack. Maybe he's just got ahead of the ball there.
Yep, they're just going through it. The VAR check. Andrew Dallas will be watching the replays. Tom Lawrence hasn't scored since August 2022, right here at Easter Road.
A header it was.
Yeah, 2-2 draw. That was his last Rangers goal. Of course, he's had plenty injury problems since then. Let's get to Brian, who's been perusing replays.
Yeah, this is very, very close indeed. Initially, I thought Lawrence was at least a yard offside, but having a look at one replay there, I think there's a Hibernian player possibly in line. So this is very, very close, and the lines will have to be drawn, undoubtedly, but yeah, this could be a goal.
And Tom Lawrence will be desperately hoping that it is. And Rangers hoping that this is a fourth goal. I mean, there's barely any Hibs fans left to witness this.
It would be good for him to be back in the score sheet as well after his injury problems. If this is given, I mean, it's not going to have a big bearing on the game. It would just be nice for Tom Lawrence to get himself back on that score sheet.
3-0's a heavy enough defeat at home. It's no goal, so he must have just been offside, Tom Lawrence. And it stays at 3. 3-0 at home is a heavy defeat. Clearly 4-0, you're getting into trouncing levels.
I must say, coming into this game, Liam, speaking to people, like, as much as it's the first game back and you don't know how teams are going to come back after the break, there was a general feeling that this would have been quite a comfortable night for Rangers for me. You know, like 2-3-0 with scorelines that weren't getting talked about, and I just think, as I said, this Hibs team, the way they match up, the teams, the formations, the players, just couldn't see anything but a Rangers win, and a comfortable one at that.
Be interesting as Nick Montgomery changes his system. He's 4-4-2 every week, and the other teams know it, and I'll be very surprised if Derek McInnes doesn't put 3 in the middle of the park on Saturday.
Well, he might even have 4, you know, depending on how he kind of sets that midfield area up.
Yeah, looking strong, Kelly. See the same about Aberdeen, teams seem to just know how to play against them. Same with Hibs. Here come Rangers with Sterling. Dessers, left-hand side of the 6-yard box, pulls it back to the penalty spot, but Jego's there, finds Whittaker who clears. 87.5 on the clock, 3-0 to Rangers. It's 1-1 between St Johnstone and Aberdeen in Perth. And Suter finds Jack out to Tavernier, and back to Suter. The goal difference is relatively tight at the top of the table as well. The 3 goals that Rangers have put in tonight puts them on plus 33. Celtic are plus 38. Rangers still have that game in hand. They look to get back to within 2 points, and they could go back to within 2 points if they win in Paisley ahead of Celtic Ross County on Saturday afternoon. This is Jack, midway inside Hibs territory, gets it back from Tavernier, then to Lawrence, to Jack, to Lawrence, to Tavernier, and down the line for Wright. He wins the throw-in off Stevenson. Of course, it all started against Hibs, a handsome victory for Philippe Clement back in October. And the only thing that is soiling his start to life as Rangers manager was that derby defeat at Celtic Park. And Scott Wright dinks the ball off Marcondes and behind of the corner. 18,617 is the official attendance tonight. There were plenty of gaps in the home sections. I'm not sure if that counts season ticket holders as well, but a massive percentage of that has headed home a long time ago. And Dessers rolled home, Rangers third. That was all too much for many a Hibs supporter. Here's Tom Lawrence, level with the penalty spot wide in the right, rolling it back to Tavernier. Final minute of the 90, in comes the cross. Dessers goes down, breaks to Lundstrom, his efforts blocked, I think, by his own man Dessers. Cleared by Doidge. Only as far as right. Goes back to Ridvan Yilmaz. Works the 1-2 with Sterling. And Yilmaz for Tavernier. And he finds Lawrence. Lawrence looks ahead of him. He's got Jack out to the right. That's where it goes. Just the stoppage time to go. Right with a lovely dummy. Dessers is in, right-hand side. Shoot saved by Marshall. That was a chance for Dessers second. Too many opportunities like that this season. He is sparring. That's another one. Jack Tavares, he's got Doidge ahead of him, reverses it instead to Marcondes, attacking the Rangers penalty area. Marcondes looks up, shot blocked by Suter, Hibs corner, and there will be 3 added.
Terrific defending from Suter, got back well.
I mean, it's Rangers they're playing today, John, but this must be pretty dispiriting when you see the empty green seats inside this stadium.
It's not nice to see, it's quite depressing actually. It's been like that for the last 20 minutes. As soon as that third goal went in, place emptied.
Hibs corner, Emiliano Marcondes over it. Hibs looking for some kind of consolation, and it comes. Not clear, back in there to Doidge with the bicycle kick, but it's gone well wide. Didn't catch it at all, and that microcosm sums up Hibernian's evening. And it stays Hibs 0, Rangers 3, and it's St Johnstone. Aberdeen won that game, heading for a draw. And that will be of no surprise to anyone. This one heading for a comfortable Rangers victory. Lawrence with the dummy this time. Here is Jack. Dessers making the run ahead of him. Ryan Jack slipping it out to the right for Scott Wright. Level at the Hibs penalty spot. He's into the area now, jinking onto the left. He shoots, and it's a really good reaction save by the left boot of David Marshall to prevent the scoreline getting even heavier. And it stays Hibs 0, Rangers 3.
Hibs have had their opportunities, but there's been 3 opportunities there. The goal disallowed, there's been Dessers' chance there's been Marshall's kept it down. You know, like you say, you don't want it to get to 4 and 5, particularly at home.
It was 4-0 at Ibrox when they met earlier in the season. And this long, almost 2-decade-long wait for a Hibs top-flight victory over Rangers at Easter Road will continue. In comes the corner. Flipped away to the edge of the box for Wright. He's got his shot away. Marshall will hold on comfortably this time. And it stays Hibs 0, Rangers 3. He looks like someone who's very keen to impress Scott Wright looked for all the money that his Rangers career was over last summer. Looked like he was heading to Turkey. Here he is still with a role to play quite clearly.
He's actually a decent game time under Philippe Clement, whether it be starting, but more often than not coming for the bench. I think when Scott comes on, he always impacts the game. He brings something. Good ball carrier, he's got pace, he's got a goal in him as well that we've seen over the time as a Rangers player. And I think that's what he is. He's a squad player that can be relied upon.
Amos playing it back away to the right for Will Fish. They are deep into stoppage time in Perth as well, one apiece in that game. We're deep in stoppage time here at Easter Road. Just about 10 seconds left. Hibs on the attack. Ball forward to the edge of the box is cut out. Here's Marcondes picking it up. Won't be long though until Stephen McLean fights check both watches, and he's seen enough, and it's an easy win for Rangers in Edinburgh. The Hibs fans who are left boo. Well beaten on the night, really poor from a Hibernian point of view. They just haven't been able to get their season going at any real point, and Nick Montgomery suffers a second defeat at Easter Road in his Hibs career, and it's come off the back of his first in the derby. And as the Hibs manager shakes hands with his Rangers counterparts, they will have to regroup and go again against Kilmarnock at the weekend. 14 points behind Hearts now, with just that one game in hand over their neighbours. For Rangers though, it was of paramount importance that they won one of their games in hand to try and eat into the lead at the top of the table. They've got another one to come as well, but this one takes them back to within 5 points of Celtic at the top. Yilmaz with the opener on the half hour, Cantwell with the second in first half stoppage time, and a special strike from Cantwell, who wouldn't feature in the second half. Cyril Dessers with 16 minutes to play, adding the third with his first feel of the ball after coming off the bench, having seen his place taken by Fabio Silva, the new signing on loan from Wolves, who made his first start. Hibs handed debuts to three players. They could do nothing though about the Rangers victory and the Rangers performance, and again it underlines the seismic gap that exists between the two Glasgow clubs in the Premiership and the rest of the Premiership. They finished here in Edinburgh. Hibernian 0, Rangers 3.
On digital radio.